Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Octoman, and this is a tutorial about how you can hold down a user interface button to charge a weapon. This was a request through my last request video, so please check it out and also put in your requests into the list of that. So I will go over and discover here and there the one or the other system sooner or later, like on a daily basis or something like that. So depending on the size, there have been so many cool requests already, a lot of huge topics I can go and try to cover sooner or later. So in this one, I just want to go into how you can charge a weapon by holding down this button. So what do you need to do is, of course, you need to create a button which can be held down to trigger that functionality. Also, you need some small scripting, but not too much actually. So, okay, so what I go to do is I go to UI canvas, and of course, you might have a canvas already. Thanks, by the way, once again for your request, so I can discover things here and there. So, this canvas is needed as well as the event system. If the event system is not there, you cannot press a button, so make sure you have that. Also, I want to create our little button here. So this button can be designed on as you please and like. Once again, can make it small, big, whatever. So because it is more like about the functionality, right? So if you have like a mobile game or whatever, you want to make them at least, I believe, 70 by 70 big, like here in width and height, so or 80 by 80, because people, have big fingers sometimes and probably are hard or have hard times to hit those. So if that is for a mobile game, the smallest I believe should be 70 by 70. Don't go too small once again to highlight all of that stuff. So this is now the button where I want to go and fill up a bar or put up a number and then instantiate something, maybe a bullet, which can understand how much this button has been held down or how long. And we're gonna do all of that right now. First, I'm gonna create a little C# script over here, which is like my button, I don't know, script. I have no name. So if that is a specific button for you, you can, of course, put all these buttons together. I want to make sure that this button script is related to the button. So I drag it onto it as a new component. It's going to be anywhere over here, as you can see. And I open this one up in Mono Develop. You can also use Visual Studio, whatever you like. So first I go and cover everything we need to do here to do all this hold it down functionality. There are, I believe, 100 possibilities to do that. So just bear with me that I'm probably not covering the one you want to see. So easiest one is at first we declare some variables. The first one is a float, maybe power. So this is the power which we want to fill up by holding down the button. You can make it public so you can simply see this running and access it if you need to from outside. You don't have to. Then I have a private one, which is going to be maybe maximum power. Max power. Let me type it like that with a big P. So we have a maximum power, which is going to be our limit for being the maximum power. I'm gonna put in, 10 over here. You can literally put any number which you like, depending on the size. I'm gonna make use of update so I can increase a number over time whenever I am triggering the button. So for triggering that, I'm gonna need a bool which is saying me, hey, he is doing that or he's not doing that. So a button held down is going to be triggered. So if it is true, we're gonna upgrade or update the power, and if it's false, we don't. Now we need two functions which we can trigger from our button. They need to be public, otherwise we don't have access to them. They are of type void since they don't return anything. And we can say hold button or something, open close parentheses, and gonna put that, without the plus, in here. Then I want to have another one where I release this button because I need to reset or actually need to reset the power, as well as I want to release the button which is currently held down, like the bool. So release button, open close parentheses, and close the line, No, and open close. Yeah, there's curly braces in here. Well, what we want to do whenever we are holding the button, we just say button held down is equal to true. We want to say, okay, it's true because we do that. In release, we want to set the vice versa. We want to say button release or button held down is equal to false. So that way we just trigger if it is on or it is off. So what we now want to do is, depending on if they are true or not, we want to increase power to the maximum of the maximum power, as well as we want to do this over time because we want to hold down or hold down this button. When we are not holding down, by the way, I want to reset the power here to be 0 because we have to charge probably the weapon later on. And also in here, you might want to instantiate your bullet with the correct power. Instantiate bullet, we're gonna talk about that. So we can transfer the power of the shot directly into the bullet by a little script. I'm gonna talk about that in just a sec. In update, I want to say if we are holding down the button, so if button is held down, we want to increase power. So we say power plus equal, let's say time dot delta time times whatever, maybe a fill speed. So how fast or charge speed. Let me name this charge speed. So I can put in, copy this name, can put in here a float. Charge speed is maybe, I don't know, 3 or 2, whatever. Okay, that's basically everything you need to do for the charge. Once again, if you want to instantiate an object or something, you can give like a bullet or whatever. The shot, the actual one from wherever you are currently at, doesn't really matter. You just need to drag in all the corresponding things like instantiating the prefab, la la la. We want to have a public game object, and this can be basically the gun, which is holding all the methods for the bullet, or you can take the bullet directly, like so. And what you want to do is whenever you're instantiating the bullet, you want to talk to the bullet directly and hand over the current power before you reset it. Once again, I talk about this in just a second. Now, we still don't have the possibility to do anything, like to do charge in here. We're gonna cover this in just a moment, so let me pretty quick create a 3D object cube. And I set this one to, I don't know, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Probably you see this somewhere here. Okay, cool. So this cube is going to become instantiated like a bullet. So the bullet is doing its behavior and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna create another C# script, call it maybe bullet whatever. Because I want to the bullet know how much damage am I able to do to my enemy, because I'm a charged bullet, right? So what we need to have is here a float damage, and is equal to nothing, so equal to 0. So basically doesn't do anything. I don't cover how to fly and do all of that stuff. I just give you the direction where it's basically going to. So what we're gonna make use of here is we create a little helper function, public set damage. You can name it whatever you like. It's of type void. Set damage. And what we're gonna pass over is a float of power, or the amount we're gonna pass over in a second from the other script whenever we are done with holding down the button. So what we do is damage is equal to amount. We can test it out whenever we are instantiating this bullet part. So, and now you do the flying, then you do the collision, and then you do take this particular damage to do the damage to the enemy. I don't cover this because it's just not, I believe you do know how this is going to do, or how this is done. If not, please feel free to request that down below or in my request video if you want to know more about that. So this cube will represent now wherever it is, or anywhere over here. This will just represent my bullet. So I will instantiate this cube in just a second. And I want to make sure that I drag bullet, the bullet script, onto this cube. Okay, this does not have anything. It doesn't do any collision, anything else. Just I just want to trigger that. And I can probably rename it to be my bullet over here and drag this into my folder. Okay, so I make sure that the bullet script is connected to this. Then I can destroy this bullet. And in my button, wherever my button script is, I have this empty spot over here, and I can drag in this particular bullet I want to instantiate. Once again, if you have the trigger about all this bullet instantiation already in your gun setup or wherever, then take these and use them as the identifier. Just make sure that you pass over the current damage of this particular charged gun. Okay, so we have this, and from the button script, whenever we are done with that, we want to create a new bullet. So we say game object, new bullet, whatever it is. Once again, for you, it can be anything else. Then we want to instantiate that. What do we want to instantiate at first? It's going to be the bullet. Then where do we want to instantiate that? Basically, I just say a transformer position, or it doesn't really matter. Maybe just at 0, 0, 0. So vector 3. 0, 0, 0. So just somewhere, and I want to have the quaternion dot identity, so its original orientation, and we typecast this into a game object. So we say as game object. You can also do this in front of the instantiation method. And what we now want to do is we want to pass over the damage. And now the interesting part comes, I guess. We say new bullet dot get component. We want to get the bullet component or bullet script. This one here, the bullet class, open close parentheses, dot, and now we want to set the damage. This is the function we have created beforehand. And what we want to pass in is power, because that's the actual power we just passed over, right? So that's basically everything. Then we set once again button held down to be false, and we reduce the power back to be 0. So this is everything you need to know about that. Now we need to trigger those two functions, right? So how do we hold down the actual UI button and how do we release it? Once again, there are hundreds of possibilities, I believe, at least 2 I can think of. I'm going to show you the easiest one because it's probably the fastest. So this is our button. We want to hold it down. When I go down a bit, there's going to be this on-click event. But this on-click event doesn't really help us by doing that because it just registers a click and then we can perform action. What we need to do is we need to go to add component and we need to add an event trigger over here. Just to type in event or event trigger or just trigger and pick event trigger. We have several different trigger types. Once again, you can do all of that by code. It's not necessary to do this over here, over these components, but you can. So what you're going to do is, what you want to have is at first a pointer down. So go here, add new, and take pointer down. Then we're going to add another new event type. You can see you can only have one of these, and we need pointer up. These two are our event triggers, which are triggering if we are holding down or not. So we're going to add a plus, and we drag in the button into both slots because they're related to the script because it's sitting here over it. That's pretty cool. Now we choose the correct function. So when our pointer is down, we go to button script, hold button. And in this function over here, we go to button script, release button. So this is the pointer up. Don't forget to save your scene and your scripts if you have done any changes. And let's see if that works. And of course, how big these numbers are. Oh, by the way, I want to make sure that bullet, this damage number probably is a public one, so we can check this easier inside the inspector whenever we are able to instantiate our bullet, our little cube. When I now press play, I try to not be in maximize and play. Okay, that's cool. I gonna check at first, this power value here is 0. When I hold down this button in the game view, this power value is going up. Meanwhile, I hold down my mouse, but you can see there's no cap because we just forgot to implement this. When I release now, you can see it pops back to 0 and it releases or creates one instantiated bullet clone with the damage value we had at the point of releasing. If your maximum power is 10, like here, you want, of course, to put in this over here as well. So we can basically keep on holding down, but nothing would happen if the maximum power is already at the maximum state. So we can say and power is smaller or equal to max power. So we kind of protect it. It's not 100%. It will overflow just a slight bit because of the speed of how fast it is increasing or slow, whatever. So, but it's going to become close to 10. So we have a small difference between 10 and probably a slight overflow, like 10.1 or something. So let's test it out once again. I hold down my button. Of course, I go here. I want to check at first. Oh, I was creating one already since I released. It has a 2.85 power, and this one was like no power, 0.17. I just clicked it once. So you need to understand, or you need to decide how how you want this button to act. If you just click on it, it will instantiate it with a rather small number. Probably you want to start this number, the power number, at 1 at least, and not at 0. That's up to you. So how can you do this? Of course, you set power equal to 1 here and power equal to 1 here. So you always do at least 1 damage when you just button mesh over here. Let's try again. I just click the button once, and this cloned bullet now still has only that. Okay, that's interesting. Did I forget to save? Actually, no, but I guess this is because this is a public one, so power might be at minimum of 1 over here because once again it's public. And try again. So whenever I hold down, I start at 1. Also, the speed is a bit higher in case of filling up, and you can see it's now capped to 10.04. And when I release that and check the clone, it's 10.0429. And you can round these numbers up and down, whatever you please and like. You can even round them down to integer if you like to, or round up, whatever. So this is how you do this. This is how you can actually go and do a bullet creation by holding down a button just with these pointer down and pointer up. Yeah, parts of, or this event triggers. That's what they are. And that's everything you need to know, I guess. So yeah, I hope you learned something new. Thanks a lot for that request, whoever that was. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next live stream, next tutorial, whatever. And yeah, thanks a lot for all those guys who were actually tuning in already. Thanks a lot for your time, and thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.